Hey everyone, this is Alvis from Chalk. We help data teams do machine learning in real time. And so people often ask us, what does real time actually mean? And in the case of Chalk, we mean being able to go out to your live data sources and incorporate data that just happened into your next prediction or recommendation or some kind of inference, right? And so the mechanism we have for fetching new data or current data is a resolver. And so we have two types of resolvers mainly. One of them is a SQL resolver, and the other is a Python resolver. So I can show you guys how this works in the code. And so let's say I have a review in some marketplace. This review has a bunch of features. So think like a timestamp, a body, the actual rating, a sentiment. In the case of Chalk, we can actually go out and fetch other features from classes that are connected to this, right? So we know that this review has a product that is connected to. We can use this product ID to fetch the actual product and then pull out features like the title of the product or the genre of the product and pull it back into this review. And we can also make new features, right? So I can take the rating, check if it's over 4, and then say that this is a positive review, right? And so if I go into my terminal and I query review number 241, we'll see that Chalk actually goes out into my different data sources and runs a bunch of computations according to my functions and my model, and then gives me back all this output. And so I can actually see this in my dashboard. So I can look at the query that I just ran. It's kind of big actually. So if I collapse these nodes, I can zoom in and I can see that we went out to Postgres, fetched this review, we fetched the product, the seller, the user connected to this review. We extracted features from each. We were able to do things like create a review sentiment. And so this is actually a Python function that makes an LLM call. And after all this gets run, we're going to come back with some output, right? Which is this. And so a Python resolver in this case is going to be like this function, right? So I can say that this class has a feature called normalized rating, and the way that we resolve this feature is by running this Python function, which is going to take these inputs, right? And these inputs are going to be other features from this feature class. So we're going to take in the rating, we're going to take in the total number of reviews, and then we're going to take the average rating across all reviews for this particular book, right? And then we can run this function, and then we're going to save that as normalized rating, right? And these functions can be nested. So this other function will check whether this is a positive review in a normalized sense by pulling in normalized rating, which we just computed, and then seeing if it's above 3.5, right? And so we can kind of see that in our DAG, in that query plan that we showed earlier. And so this is an example of a Python resolver. And a SQL resolver looks like this. So it's going to be a regular SQL file, and we're going to tell Chalk, like I can actually run this and I can get data back. And so we're going to tell Chalk the data in this table is going to resolve this feature class, right? And so this code comment is going to tell Chalk what feature class we want it to hydrate, and then this will be our SQL resolver. And so at query time, Chalk's going to run all of the SQL for all these different classes, fetch our base data, and then it's going to do all of these computations and then give me back the output, right? And so the nice thing is that because we have support for Python, I can run arbitrary Python, and I can actually go out to third-party clients or a microservice. And so this review sentiment is calculated by us taking the review body, which we ended up fetching from SQL, and then we're going to give this to OpenAI, right? And we're going to ask it to classify the sentiment of this review using structured output by passing in this enum, right? And so the cool thing is that I can reuse the same enum for my structured output call as well as in my class, right? So now I have like guarantees that this particular feature is of type enum, and I can use that same code in multiple places and even use it with whatever third-party service call I'm making. And so that's an example of a Python resolver. And yeah, so these are the building blocks of Chalk, and just wanted to share how they worked. Till next time.